Remember, finding great car service
starts with an investigation. How you doing, everybody? My name's Chris.
I'm Gary.
Welcome to CSI Car Service Investigation.
Hello, Internet world again.
All right, Gary and his little voices.
Oh yes, we're having fun here. So we got a topic that we're going to go over today, and this is
we want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
How important is your car
To you.
Have you ever thought about it?
Yeah, think about it hard, because we're going to talk about our sponsor and dive into this thing. So we want to thank Vic Coppola for sponsoring the video.
Link on the below.
First Choice Business Brokers, guy's awesome. If you want to buy a business, sell a business, merge a business, whatever.
Vic is your man.
Vic is your man. Great guy. He'll work with you, and he'll give you everything you need for that tool to get to buy a business or sell
get out of your business.
Yeah, yeah. So
he helped us get out.
Yep. So thanks, Vic. Appreciate it.
There you go.
Let's get on with this, Chris. So what are we talking again?
So, we breached on this on the first episode about how amazing it is that we're not taught about our car or how to take care of our car in schools. That your car is basically an additional limb.
It's your lifeline.
You don't have a car. God, good luck getting around or, anything. So what we started talking about this is, how important is a car? And then we started talking about the customers that we saw in our shop. And so, we did about 2,500 customers a year.
Yeah, roughly give or take.
And I'm going to say it was about 20% of those customers were consistent with their service.
Yeah, they were in every 6 months, mileage based.
To the mile.
Yeah.
Right? They were there on time every time. They didn't miss a single oil change.
They got an email.
Or scheduled service.
Right, they got an email from us saying schedule your appointment, and we got a phone call.
Exactly.
Or an email back.
And these were the same people that if they were not able to take care of a recommendation on the same day visit.
Yeah, they'd be in within 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks tops. Tops within 4 weeks.
So they obviously, it was very clear that their car was important.
Yeah.
They understood the value, how to take care of it.
Yeah. That car was clean.
Right.
Most of the time their car was clean. And we had a lot of parents that had a lot of kids. So we had a lot of minivans.
Right. And that's a challenge in itself. You got 2 or 3 kids in a minivan. Things, cereals and things are going to be on the floor in between the seats. And, they'd come in and apologize to us on how dirty it was. But next time we saw it, it was clean.
Yeah.
So, you give them credit.
I went to the car wash over the weekend, and a gentleman had a really nice Subaru, and he was taking out his child seats. And I'm like, thank you for that. And he's like, what? I'm like, most people don't take that extra step to take the child seats out. He goes, oh, I got to clean those seats. They're dirty. I do this once a week. So I gave him props for that. So anyway.
Anyways, right.
Yeah, so.
And then there's the other 80%, right? That's not as consistent.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to say that they're like price shoppers.
No, they're not. But out of that 80%, a large portion of them are price motivated.
Exactly. I like that word, motivated. They're price motivated.
That they care about their car.
Right.
It's important, but for whatever reason, price is the most important part of car service.
They're in a way. It's not about the value they're receiving into that.
It's just the transaction.
The transaction.
I need a tire. I need a brake job, a serpentine belt, whatever it was. It was always to look around and find the best price without considering the value.
Right.
Right.
Those customers that we had, folks, they would come to us for the hard problems. So we might not see them for maybe a year, 18 months.
Right.
And then something really dramatic would happen to their vehicle, and they would bring it to us.
So they were consistent for the hard repairs, but we didn't. Rarely would we change their oil.
And we'd constantly send them emails. Haven't seen you in a while. Right. Hey, here's $20 off if you come in. But they would shop around.
Stagger in when they staggered in,
and that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with it.
As we talk about it in the channel, we want you to build that long-term engaging relationship, and we would try to promote this as hard as we could.
Right.
But we understand that there's different levels to when you look at it, and so
life is hard, right? Life is busy, and it can be difficult to build these relationships.
To give you a little insight, we had a customer that had a pretty nice BMW, and didn't see him for about 2 years, and so when he came in, I said, hey, can I talk to you privately real quick, because I really wanted to know, and so I brought him into my office, and I said,
I remember this.
So where have you been and why are you back? And if you don't want to answer the question, and truly, it's none of my business. He goes, no, I'll be upfront with you. You guys can be a little pricey at times. I'm like, okay, I get that. I'm like, why are you back? He goes, because you fix it right the first time.
Yeah.
And the point of that is that he had taken his car for a check engine light to a shop that was probably about 6 blocks down the street from us. And they were charging him a diagnostic fee, not once, not twice, but 3. Now we're going into 4 times for the same problem and constantly telling him, this is going to fix it. This is going to, and finally on the 4th time, he's like, I'm done. I'm not paying you a diag fee. I'm done. And he brought it to us from that shop to us. Yeah. And then we had it for 2 days and ended up fixing it. And I checked back with him too, about a week and a half later.
It was good.
How's the car running? Awesome. It's great. And he got it, I mean, but he was a high-end guy and he was busy in life.
He traveled a lot, right? That was the key, right? That car did a lot of driving. Right. And so we didn't take it personal when we didn't do the oil changes because we knew he was all over the place.
Right.
But, again, like you said, you're gone for 2 years. We had like a good 2-year run with the guy where he was just on the spot with us. Yep. So, it happens. And if you have a service advisor or a shop owner approach you with that same question, be honest.
Yeah. Just be upfront with them.
Just be honest with them.
And that's the one thing when you look at the consistent customer, they're engaging with us.
Yes.
They're asking those important questions of, hey, this is my driving habits. What's the best plan for me going forward? Right. And then with the ones that are somewhat inconsistent, maybe they are a little price shopping in a way. Okay. Money's a little tight. And trust us, folks, we know money's tight right now. Okay.
Of course. It's so important now.
So I want to talk about some of the things that shops offer you being, somewhat maybe a price shopper. Money's a little hard for you. And that's some of this, approval cash stuff. We're like, hey, no interest for 6 months type of thing. It's like when you go buy the couch or something, hey, you don't have to pay any interest for a year. Okay. These are great tools for shops to have.
They are.
But read the fine print, folks.
You really, you need to know what you're getting into, okay? Because every shop any good shop is going to have this tool available for its customers.
Yeah, okay? Well, no. I'm going to split those hairs again with you because as we had it, okay, but it can be a little frustrating having it.
No, but the point being is that it was a tool that we had available to our customers.
Yeah, when asked. Yeah. Hey, okay. I don't have enough money. Is there a way I can make payments? Like, well, we have this option over here for you.
And like anything, you'll have shops that really push this hard and promote it.
Yes.
Right? And they're not as upfront with the fine print.
No, I think some are.
Okay.
Well, no, I want to say not some. I want to say good 80% are. Because,
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I would hope so because
we would tell customers, look, you need to pay this off within the time frame because it's 29.99% interest and
after
it's retroactive.
6 months if you don't pay it.
Yeah, and if you don't pay it off quick, you're 30%. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So the point being is that you have an emergency option available for you in a crazy situation where you don't have a couple $1,000s to fix the car, but you got to know what you're getting into before you sign your name to that fine print because again it is high interest rate, but it is a good tool if you're really really strapped and you have to have a car.
Yeah.
Right, and you have no other option there. At least it's there for you at that time. Okay, so you do want to go into your shop, your service advisor owner, and ask them, hey, we've been a year now or whatever, right? We've done a couple services together. You kind of have an idea of who I am and, my lifestyle, how I use my car. Can we build a maintenance plan that kind of fits me?
Yeah, we talked about this in our maintenance one. It was hard for us to do that video in a way because it's so dry, it's
right. But every person is different.
Yes, exactly.
And
every
so
driving
we
habit
approach
is different.
maintenance as a very baseline topic.
Yes, agreed.
And I think that was the best way to approach it.
Yeah, I agree.
But every person is different and they drive differently, so you can have a personalized maintenance plan for you and your car.
Yeah, we did it.
Right, and it works and it's good for your car.
Yeah.
Right, and a customer that does that will be really appreciated by the shop.
Yeah, I know we didn't talk about this in pre-show, but I'll just real quick, 30 seconds. I had a customer, this is way before we started our shop. He had 383,000 miles on a Chevy S10, man. He never did an engine, never did a transmission, never did a rear end.
We loved guys like this.
Maintained the hell out of that thing. Yeah. I mean, he was solid, and I hated losing him as a customer, but in the financial crisis, back in 08, 09, him and his wife moved out of state because they just couldn't afford the state that we live in. Right. And that's the only reason why I lost him. But he was an awesome customer because he took the time to engage with me and listen to me, and we together built a plan. That plan that Chris is talking about.
Again, this is the point we're trying to make is the relationship is the most important.
Yeah,
part
we're going to hammer and hammer and hammer and hammer and hammer and hammer.
Right. So if you're getting tired of it, comment and tell us to quiet down.
We got it. You want us to build a long-term relationship. We understand it. Right. So what's the next step that we're going through too is when we look at, looking at your vehicle, how important is your car to you? So what was the next thing that we wanted to go over?
Was taking the time to take care of the entire car.
Yeah. We talked about this a couple episodes ago.
We did, but it's so much more than just changing your oil and doing the brakes and tires when they're needed.
It's washing it, waxing it, detailing it.
Right. And again, you're driving, you stopped at a fast food place, if you throw the bag on the floor, make sure you pick it up when you get out of the car, because if you have a bunch of trash on the floorboard of your car, it just invites you to put more.
Yeah.
Right? And if you take the time to clean your car inside and out on a regular basis, well, you already know the resale value of that car is going to be much higher than the average car out there.
Okay, so now let's talk that with the resale. I'm glad that you brought that up because we really pushed this for a long time with our clients is having a filing system for you.
Oh my God, yes.
So when you have your vehicle, let's say you bought a brand new car and now you're starting your first package. So you're doing your first oil change. Okay, now you're building a filing system for your car. Now I'm not talking about saving receipts for car washes, but save the receipts for your details.
Right.
Because here we go. Now you're going to go sell your car. Now I want you to be the buyer, not the seller of your car, the buyer. Because the first thing you're going to say when you're going to go buy your car that you're trying to sell is like, hey, did you paint the car or have it upholstered? No, I just been taking care of it. By the way, here's my file system. And you have a file system like this.
Right. That's every oil change.
Yes, oil change,
every
maintenance,
tire you ever
all the
put on the
detailing
car.
you did, everything you've done in succession from date mileage. This brings value up to your car. We talked about this a couple episodes ago. That
you
this
can't
is how
haggle
you
down
lift
a car like that.
No, you can't.
It's
impossible.
Down. You can't.
You can't.
I'm firm. There's my reason I'm firm.
Yeah, and that is so golden for you as the customer because these cars are not cheap anymore. They're just not. They're very, very expensive, and we've sort of talked about how expensive cars are getting, and they're going to get more expensive.
Right. And the chip shortage is going to go longer than we thought. So, if you're trying to buy a used car, again,
you're paying premium.
We're going to say this again. The best used car you can buy is the one in your driveway.
Yep.
You know what's wrong with it. So
we saw this in the 08-09 crash.
Yes,
folks,
we did.
That no one was buying new cars. They were fixing their cars.
Yeah.
And it was so many times that we'd have customers go, okay, wait, hold on. I get that you're trying to do this first, this second, this third, but how much is the whole thing? And we'd say it's $4,000. Fix it all.
Yep.
And then we saw them regularly every 6 months.
It was amazing. It was amazing because you saw a lot of those inconsistent customers
become consistent
because they understood it. Wow, I just put a huge investment into this car, and speaking to my mechanic, I was told that if I did this investment, there's a very good chance I'd get 5 or 7 years out of this car, knowing that you can't buy a 5 or 7 year car for the $4,000 that you're going to put in.
And also look at it too is that I'm just not going to fix it, and I'll just go buy another used car. So
you
buy
see
a $2,000
the same car a year later, same condition.
Yeah. I used to tell customers this too is that okay, so I know it's $4,000, and so what are you going to go buy? Well, I got $10,000. Okay, so you're going to buy a $10,000 car. I guarantee you're going to need a couple $1,000s worth of work when you bring it to me. And this is the one things that would frustrate customers sometimes because it's like, well, you haven't even looked at the car yet. I don't need to. If you buy a car that's got 90,000 miles on it, I guarantee you I'm going to find something.
It's going to need work. There's no doubt.
There's going to be neglected things that go on in the car. Yeah. So that being said, what was the next takeaway that we had, Chris?
Well, at that point, it was coming back to the inconsistent shopper and just backing up the fact that if you're inconsistent, do nothing but change your oil on a regular basis. It's the lifeblood of your car.
Yeah.
And it's so important. And it's not.
But I think the inconsistent customer changes their oil.
I think that a majority of them do.
But they bounce oil changes. They go to one place here and one place there.
And they're more likely to use a quick lube facility.
And that's the inconsistency is that you're not using one facility all the time.
And if you're not going to a real mechanic your car's not being inspected properly, and you are not given a true evaluation of your car. Okay, and so by building a relationship and seeing the same mechanic,
well, the same shop,
yeah. Okay, but you're right. Okay, but in the long run, that mechanic is going to catch a problem before it becomes a bigger problem.
Right.
And it's proven time and time again that over the life of your car, you're going to save money with one person versus going around to other people.
Yeah, like we said a while back ago, folks. Okay, it's about $2,500 a year for gas, license, maintenance, insurance, and repairs.
Yeah.
It's
just
put
a
that
given
into your head and start building a car savings account. You know, and for you parents out there that have teenagers, let's say you got a kid that's maybe 14, 15 years old. You're going to put them in a car. Start building a savings account now, $50 a month if you can. By the time they get a car, if you're buying a used car or giving them a hand-me-down car, and then all of a sudden they're going off to college, guess what? You might have $2,000, $3,000 saved up by that time. And if something happens to the car, guess what? You have the money. You don't got to put it on a credit card. You don't have to finance it. You could just go ahead and say, fix the car, and it's paid. So that just as a little blip into
FYI, and it's not a bad idea to make your child pay for their own oil changes, even as a teenager, because it makes them understand the value of that vehicle.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right?
We had a lot of teenage customers that we knew from 10 years old and started driving, and they're the ones that would come in to get their car serviced.
It was just, again, it's just to make them responsible for that vehicle. Yeah.
So they know what they got skin in the game.
Yeah, they got skin in the game. And they're prepared for being 25 and being told, hey, I need $4,000 worth of work.
Yeah. And so what happens is that they understand how important their car is. Because again, folks, we keep hammering it on the relationship building. And it comes down to when you look at the vehicle you drive, okay, these things weigh 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, 6,000 pounds, and you're doing 60, 75 miles on a freeway. Think about that for a minute. Yeah. We've sort of talked about it a little bit, and I know we weren't talking about this in pre-show, but, I always tell people when you're at the light and just look at someone's car, look at how beautiful it might be or how thrashed it might be or in the in-between it might be. And, it's not saying a judgmental thing, but do you want to be that person that has that really, really, really thrashed car? Now, I'm not saying that the person has a really thrashed car. Maybe they can't afford to have the car and they're just struggling to keep it on the road. But if they had a shop instead of, the best friend of the best friend that works on it in the garage on the weekends and just Band-Aids it all the time, they're spending more money, believe it or not. In the long run, they're spending more money, okay? Duct tape don't fix cars, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway.
And you have the power to choose where your car goes.
Yeah, you are in total control here, folks. This is the thing. Yeah.
And it goes even with your shop. If you have the relationship, you still have the control and the power of what happens to your car. Mm-hmm. Not the shop owner, not the service advisor.
Yeah, it's you.
It's you.
And this is the good summary point here on wrapping up is you are in control. Mm-hmm. And by you going up to a service advisor in the shop that you've been dealing with, let's just say for 2 or 3 visits, and it's like, hey Chris, now that you see me, I really want to know how I can get more engaged with you. Can you give me some insights on helping the car out? Right. We've talked about gas. We've talked about this. We've talked about that. But you see my driving habits. You can see I put on about 11,000 miles a year. You see I got 2 kids.
And I would come out with what was called, we called it the nowhere to hide form.
Yeah, right? yeah.
And so basically what it was a list that we created that was basically every component on your car, fluid flushes.
Yeah, filters.
Just about every service that could be done.
And then go back in history.
And I would do this for the customer, and I would go back and I would fill in the mileage and the date that each one of these things was done.
Right.
And there's nowhere to hide because it exposed the gaps in service that weren't done.
Yeah. And how many times we had clients that we'd have suggestions on our work, we'll monitor this.
Yeah.
And, we would tell customers, hey, look, we've been saying we're going to monitor this for 6 months. We're still monitoring it. We're just now going to take it off and let you know when you're going to need to replace it. Just keep it in the back of your mind. To
get it off the paperwork so you're not worried about it.
Right. Because this is the one thing that I stressed over when we owned our shop, that when I would interview technicians, is I don't suggest seeps. So if something's seeping, we would not suggest it. We would just say, hey, we're going to monitor this because you have a little bit of film of oil
moisture or something.
Whatever it might be. And we would clean it. So that way we could really monitor it. Right. And if it started to seep again, we clean it again. Say, okay, we really should address this now because we don't want it to actually leak.
Right.
Okay, so this was what, again, saves you money in the long run. So
Right, exactly.
So I think also too, when we look at saying that you're in control, this is the key point here, folks, is that you are in control. And the reason why you're in control is because it's your car. Okay,
it's
not the shop's car; it's your car.
That's right. And if you take care of it,
it will take care of you.
It's going to take care of you.
Yeah, and it's again, we always use the dentist, right? We always use the dentist. Every 6 months, you go get your teeth cleaned, right? And the one thing I give the younger generation is they got nice teeth, man, compared to our generation. They got some nice teeth. They're big time, right?
Sure.
And so you're in control. And always remember that and build that relationship like we keep hammering.
Right.
And I think we're going to go over something that Inside the Shop's going to talk about.
Yeah, I think what we're going to do with Inside the Shop is we're going to tell more stories like the Brian story.
Yeah, we're going to give a little bit of some insights of the life that we lived as a shop owner.
As a shop owner, and the different customers that we interacted with.
What we had to deal with.
And how a quick interaction and a visual of your car, within 5 minutes, I knew how important your car was to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And we didn't have to speak much to each other. Most of this was visual.
Yeah, most of it was
visual.
And I'll tell some stories on my ending interview with mechanics on why I would not hire them, even though they had the qualifications.
Exactly.
Guys, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Share this video, please. That helps the most.
Tickle the bell.
Right. It's all automotive. So if you have an idea for a show that you want us to do, leave a comment.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem if you guys say you want me to go drive the new Porsche or the new Corvette. I don't mind. Hopefully they'll let me. I don't know. You never know.
We're going to get to that point, though. Yeah. That's for darn sure. Sure.
We're not letting Chris drive, though. We're not doing that. I can drive him, but not Chris. So.
Leadfoot.
Yeah.
Okay,
hey, that might be a good rock band, right? Leadfoot. Guys, thanks a lot.
On tour as Leadfoot.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks a lot for watching, guys. You have a great week. We're going to see you on Friday Inside the Shop. Be safe, okay?
Be safe.
Remember, finding great car service
starts with an investigation.